Hello and welcome to Narayana Eyes. Now, in the early days of India's independence, the founders of nation were driven by a single overarching goal. And what was that? To create a society based on justice, equality, and social welfare. Now, aware of the deep social and economic inequalities that plagued the country, the framers of the Indian Constitution set forth a vision of a state that would act as a catalyst for social justice. Their goal was not only to form a democratic republic but also to create an environment where every citizen, regardless of their background, could thrive. And this dream was embedded in the preamble of the Constitution, which originally described India as a sovereign, democratic, and republic. But there was more to the vision. Social and economic disparities had to be addressed, and a welfare state model was the proposed solution. As India moved forward, the idea of socialism began to take root, not as a strict political dogma, but as an approach to ensure equality for all. The state would play a vital role in promoting social justice, ensuring access to basic needs like education, healthcare, and employment. But it was not meant to be strict dictatorial version of socialism as seen in other parts of the world. The year 1976 brought a significant shift. Amidst the political turbulence of the emergency period, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment was introduced. And this forever altered the ideological trajectory of India. The amendment added the word socialist to the preamble right alongside secular, marking a clear commitment to not just democracy but to a system where the state would actively pursue social equality. This inclusion was controversial. What did socialist really mean for India? Would it lead to centralization of power and the nationalization of industries? Would it demand state control over all aspects of economic life as socialism did in some parts of the world? The addition of socialists was meant to ensure that economic development would not come at the cost of marginalized. Yet, it left many questions unanswered. Years later, in the post-liberalization era of the 1990s and 2000s, India's economy underwent a major transformation. The country shifted towards a market-driven economy with reduced state control. But what about the socialist ideal embedded in the constitution? This question led to a series of legal challenges questioning whether the term socialist still held relevance in modern India given the changing economic landscape. Critics argued that market liberalization, privatization, and the reduced role of the state seemed at odds with the socialist ideology envisioned in the 42nd Amendment. Was it time for the country to move beyond its socialist roots? Should the preamble be reinterpreted to reflect the current reality? Now, in recent years, a set of petitions was filed before the Supreme Court challenging the inclusion of the word socialist in the preamble. Petitioners contended that the term was vague and lacked clarity in the context of India's current socio-economic structure. The petitioners asked the court to reconsider the 42nd Amendment, arguing that socialism in India should not be equated with state control of the economy, but rather with a model that would promote equality without necessarily centralizing all economic functions. The Supreme Court reserved its order on the issue, leaving the question of the true meaning of socialism up in the air. Now, in a landmark moment, Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna addressed the ongoing debate surrounding socialism in India's constitution. He clarified that socialism in India was never about imposing authoritarian control over the economy. Instead, it was about the state's role in ensuring social welfare, creating equality, and providing opportunities for all citizens to flourish. Justice Khanna emphasized that socialism, as envisioned by the framers, should focus on equity, with the state acting as a facilitator of welfare programs that reach the marginalized section. This interpretation aligns with the original idea that the state would create a society where citizens, particularly the poor and disadvantaged, would have the means to live with dignity. It was a vision of social justice, not economic centralization. Now, in the present day, the debate over socialism in India's constitution is far from over. As the country continues to evolve with market reforms, privatization, and globalization, many wonder how the idea of socialism fits into the modern India framework. The state still plays a role in welfare programs such as Manrega, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and food security. But the economy is increasingly market driven. Some argue that India's mixed economy, a blend of state intervention and market-based growth, reflects the true spirit of socialism. Others feel that the state needs to revisit its socialist route and focus on poverty alleviation and redistribution of wealth. The Supreme Court's eventual ruling on the petitions challenging the inclusion of socialists in the preamble will likely set the stage for how socialism will be understood in India's future. So, all in all, the addition of socialism in the preamble through the 42nd Amendment was meant to signal India's commitment to social justice and equality. Yet, as India progresses, this term continues to spark debates about the role of the state, economic policies, and the equitable distribution of resources. Now, whether socialism remains a cornerstone of India's identity or evolves into something more adaptive to the market-driven world will depend on the vision of the people and the rulings of the court. In any case, socialism in India will likely always be about ensuring that no one is left behind in the country's race for growth and progress. How that vision is implemented may change, but the core ideals of justice, equality, and welfare will always remain at the heart of India's democratic project. Thank you so much for watching.